Hey, welcome to Loud and Proud Mamas. I'm your host, Justine. I got my co-host here, Laura. And here we are recording from our beautiful studio. Laura, where are we recording from?
Hi, everyone. We're both sitting in our closets right now.
Wonderful. There is a gay joke in there. We're still working on what that joke is, but we'll get back to you when we have it. Laura, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to finally be doing a podcast after years of wanting to.
Yeah, it was good synergy. You mentioned one night, hey, I want to do a podcast. And I said, hey, I know how to edit podcasts.
Perfect.
So one thing that we wanted to have a podcast about is because we have a couple of things in common. And one of them, you might guess from the title of the podcast, is that we're both queer moms. How's that treating you so far, the queer mom life?
Honestly, it's so normal to me that I don't realize it sometimes. Certain facts, it'll just come to mind of, oh yeah, I have a wife. Not everybody has a wife. Not everyone is in a lesbian or queer relationship. I think there's pros and cons to that because, it's great that it's so natural and normalized, but at the same time, it is a bit of a different reality at other moments.
It does come up at strange moments, especially living where we do. I live in a slightly smaller place than you do, but you still live in more or less a small town.
Yes, and there's definitely still small townness around me in my lives. My family, as you know, grew up in a small town. They're still out in a small town. Most of the activities I do is out in a small town. So there's definitely a bit of that for sure.
What's funny is that I grew up in a big town. I grew up in Calgary, Alberta, which is 1 million people. For us in Alberta, we think of ourselves as a big town, and then you move out to Toronto and they all laugh at you for being from a small town.
So those are two really big cities. How are you finding the shift to your tiny little town now?
I love it. Yeah, sometimes you do stand out being a gay in a small town, and sometimes being visibly gay in a small town, but I love the community. I love the culture. I love all the public services that we have. So you're going to have to get me out of here with a forklift.
And as far as small towns go, I have to say where we're at is pretty good and it's pretty progressive.
Well, we got to meet, which is nice. We met through one of our public services, which was the mom group, which was really nice.
So, funny story about that. We had the mom group that we met in person, but before that, we had that Facebook group too, where people post their mom questions and whatnot. And I like to read all of these posts. And I saw a couple from this one person with, it was you. And I was like, oh, this person's interesting. And of course, the nosy body that I am clicks on the profile picture and I go, I wonder. And then I wonder. And then, of course, the first time we met, I left that meeting going, one of us.
I remember specifically our first introduction because I'm going to give you a pro tip here for any straights who may be listening. There is a gay way that queer people talk to each other. And so the first thing that you came up to me and said, hey, I like your haircut. But you said it in the gayest way possible. So I knew instantly, one of us.
I don't even remember that.
You did. You came up to me and you said, hey, I like your hair, but you meant it in the gay way.
I did.
So that's how we met. We met and now we're doing a podcast together being queer mamas.
Yeah, back in the closet.
Back in the closet. That's the thing they don't tell you about being queer in your 30s is eventually you do wind up back in the closet.
In some form, especially with all the laundry as moms.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Speaking of moms and mom group, I did want to debut one of our recurring segments, one of our much beloved recurring segments, which is called My Awkward Moment of the Day, which did happen at one of our mom groups. So we had a mom group get together, and it was one of those special events where we all have to bring something that we made. And I was like, oh God, because, you never know what to bring to one of these. So it's coming up to autumn. So I decided I was going to make like a pumpkin bread, kind of like a pumpkin spice, but like kind of like a banana bread situation. Very normal. Uh, but I didn't have pumpkin, but I did have squash. And for my cookers out there, for those familiar being in the kitchen, you'll know that squash and pumpkin very interchangeable in the kitchen, especially when you're kind of making a pumpkin bread situation. So I made squash bread and I put cinnamon, nutmeg in it, ba 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 ba, you know, the good stuff in it. And I labeled it squash bread because I'm an honest person about what goes in my fucking food. And I came to the mom group and everyone said, Justine, what did you bring? And I said, hey guys, I brought squash bread. I hope you enjoy it. I even brought butter so they could have it. I pre-sliced it and everything. And what happened to my squash bread, Laura?
No one took it.
No one took it except you. You took it and then you said in front of everyone, wow, Justine, it's really nice.
Yes, it was very good squash bread. It was delicious.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for defending my honor at the moms group. This did seem to trigger a few people to like try one or two bites of the squash bread, but my food was the last to be eaten at the moms group. The last one. I had to give it as leftovers to the mom group staff workers so they could finish it off, and I had to pick up my plate later full of shame.
I'm sure they really appreciated that.
And this goes to show, should you lie? When you are making squash bread, should you just lie and say, no, it's pumpkin, because no one would ever know the difference? I'm suspecting that's what happened. People just didn't know what to expect for squash bread.
So, to be fair, there were a lot of carbs there. Like, there was a lot of carb-like food. I brought a whole big thing of, like, I wasn't as good as you. I just picked up some Walmart cinnamon buns. But same there, only one person took a cinnamon bun. Yes, so I think that was the case. And another thing, to be honest, I had no idea it was squash. I'm sure you said it, but I didn't even read it. I just thought, oh, yummy, some sort of bread, some sort of loaf. But you're right. Some people might be a little confused about what a squash bread was.
So, listeners, here is a tip from your good old host, Justine, straight to you, my beloved listeners. Just lie. Just say it's pumpkin bread. Don't say it's squash bread. Otherwise, your future co-host, Laura, will be the only one who will bravely try a bite and announce that it's safe to everyone else. All right, Laura. So give it to me. What's your awkward story of the day?
So I have to say, awkward things probably happen to me once or twice a day. So we're definitely going to have a lot to cover in these segments. But your story reminds me of another mom-related or a mom group-related one. So our town is awesome. We have this program where after you have a baby, you can have one of the workers from the baby group come to your house and provide 3 hours at a time of help around, like help with the baby or help with like some cleaning or whatnot. And I was lucky enough to get this service, and the worker is there, everything's going well, and I notice a box of something in our front hall, and it looks like a blood pressure machine or something. And the worker also came with a cup of coffee, or like a Tim Hortons paper cup of coffee, and had it on the table, the front hall, close to where this blood pressure machine was. A blood pressure machine I had never seen before. So I just assumed it belonged to the worker, and this is like what they do at their visits. You know, they come along with their blood pressure machine. I don't know. I didn't question it. But anywho, after the 3-hour visit, it was all nice. I was at the door saying goodbye, saying thank you. And I say, oh, don't forget your stuff. And I point in the direction, and she goes, you want me to take my garbage? She had only brought the paper cup, so the blood pressure machine actually belonged to my wife, who's a nurse, but I had never seen this machine before, so I didn't know she brought it home. So I was so embarrassed, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, sorry, is this not yours? And she's like, no, I don't know what that is. And I was like, okay, thank you, bye. So that's my awkward moment for you.
Oh no, She's like, my blood pressure is fine, honey. It's yours I'm worried about.
Yeah, in that moment, probably with reason.
Oh, man. Yeah, that organization, I'm familiar with that organization too. They come over when your house is just looking the worst. You know what I mean? There is no dishes have been done. The floor's a fucking mess. Baby's screaming. You're not showered.
Oh, yeah. Yep. No, yeah. But what's nice is in these times, sometimes the dishes get done and I get to shower. And it's probably the only time in the week that I had the chance.
Yeah. They don't warn you how greasy mom life is.
Greasy, sticky, slightly smelly. Yep, there's definitely a few adjectives to describe it, along with the good ones too.
Well, so the next segment that we're going to introduce today is pro tips from amateur moms. From amateur mom Justine, I'm going to give you a really good tip that's worked out for me in the past is complain. Complain to the brands when their shit breaks down. When Graco has a stroller that has a flat wheel on it and nothing you do fixes this flat wheel, go to customer service. Say you have a flat wheel. They will send you a new wheel. When your sterilizer dryer no longer dries, and just go to Dr. Brown and say, Dr. Brown, help me out. Your dryer no longer dries. They will just send you a new one. I'm not sure if this is true for all of the big brands, but it's definitely worth giving a shot that if one of your baby products has stopped working and you do have a receipt, either a gift receipt or a receipt that you have yourself, just try. Just try complaining and see what they do for your poor, tired mama self.
Great tip, though. What do you suggest to a mama with ADHD, me, who cannot be medicated right now, so even worse? So those kind of tasks, mom brain plus the ADHD, make it so that it feels so overwhelming to do something like call customer service or find a receipt or bring something to be fixed. This is usually where I have to pay the ADHD tax and just buy another one because I A, can't be bothered, or it's way too many steps.
Oh, no.
So that's where I'm going to get you to call for me next time.
Man, yeah, unmedicated ADHD does make things a lot harder. Luckily, I have a different brain disease.
Yes, so pro tip, get mom friends who will complain for you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, look, my pro tip, I'm not a shill for Amazon, but one thing Amazon is nice is that they keep all your receipts in one spot. If you're able to buy things from Amazon, just screenshot me the receipt and I'll call for you, dude. Get mom friends who complain for you. I will complain until the cows come home. I am so good at complaining. I love to complain. You can ask my husband. I will complain from sun up to sundown. Alrighty, Laura. So that was my mom tip of the day is always complain to the brands. Laura, you got a mom tip you want to share with the beloved listeners?
So kind of a tip, kind of a story, kind of a moment of acceptance. I think to sum it up, the tip is to sometimes just go with it and not freak out too much over the inconveniences. So the other night I was cooking dinner and I was home alone and the house is pretty baby proofed. So it's pretty good, but there's a few things that I'm like, oh, she's never discovered this before. So, but lately she's been in her full on toddler rage modes. So, anywho, I have a hobby of cake decorating and I have a little cupboard on the side and she hasn't discovered it yet. But of course, the first time, there's always a first time for everything. So I'm cooking dinner with multiple hot things going on the burner and I can't really step away, also dealing with raw meat. So, couldn't really do anything with my hands. And I look down and my daughter has a hold of 2 giant containers of sprinkles. And I don't know when she learned to use her thumbs so well because before this, her fine motor skills were not 100% yet, which I was counting on. But within a matter of seconds, she had taken both containers over to the carpet where our dog was waiting very excitedly to see what was in her hand, and managed to open them up, pour them out, and decide to do some snow angels with her hands and her body, rubbing 2 full containers of minuscule sprinkles, and not those little balls. Like, I'm talking about the ones that are almost like dust. And she was just rubbing them everywhere, and the dog was eating them, and he was rolling in them. And there I am in the
Oh my
kitchen watching
God.
this happen, hands full of meat, burners going, not
Oh my
really able
God.
to stop what I'm doing. And I just took a deep breath, and I had a bit of a chuckle, and I just accepted it. And I just said, I guess she's gonna have some sensory play right now.
Just go with it.
Exactly. The sprinkles were not small enough that she could choke on, and she wasn't actually putting them in her mouth. So I was like, okay, we're just going to go with this. And something I like to tell myself, I had seen it as a post somewhere, and it's a reminder that I like to do, is asking the question, is this dangerous or is it inconvenient? And if the answer is it's inconvenient, then I can take a moment and be like, okay, there's no harm in this happening. I'm just going to let it happen. And because not everything needs a correction. You know, at the end of the day, there's enough things that toddlers are going to get told no to. So it's helpful to just be like, okay, this sucks, but luckily we have a robot vacuum, and I was able to press it to go while we had our dinner, and it all cleaned up, and everything was fine.
Yeah, some impromptu sensory play.
Oh, she had a great time. She was having the time of her life.
I can imagine your dog also. For our beloved listeners, Laura has a very cute dog. And I can imagine that he was having the time of his life as well.
Yes, though a very scruffy boy, and let me tell you, I'm still finding sprinkles in his hair. And bonus pro tip, baby-proof your house. Even if you think that it's not going to be found, chances are it will. Because as soon as you baby-proof one layer, they figure out the next layer. So now she's starting to push chairs up against counters and climb up them. So you just have to keep baby-proofing.
It's an arms race. It's an escalating arms race.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. Yeah. So, so it helps with troubleshooting for sure.
One thing about Laura is that your kid is older than my kid. So you're able to warn me from the future what's about to happen, which I appreciate a lot.
So I got a giant thing of oil from Costco, and it was so big that my daughter is able to kind of use it as a walker, or she was when she was learning to walk. And I sent a picture of it to our friend group. And right away they said, our son was doing that and he figured out how to unscrew it, and then he dumped the entire thing of oil. And if you have seen a vat of Costco oil, it is a lot of oil. So I'm sure he will find something in the kitchen eventually. Yeah.
I don't know if I have sprinkles in my house, but I am worried about my kid getting into the kitchen stuff because there's more things there that he should not be involved with. This might be a me problem, but I do have like a commercial 11-pound sausage stuffer, which is too big to have anywhere else in my house except on the floor underneath my island. And like, I don't think he can hurt his little fingers, but I'm sure he's going to find a way to hurt his little fingers playing with the commercial sausage stuffer.
Yeah. So maybe a new home is needed. But I have to just say, there are so many gay jokes that are also waiting to be told about the commercial sausage stuffer.
The commercial 11-pound sausage stuffer that I fundraised to get. On the plus side, I finally made kielbasa, which, if you listeners, I have to tell you, I live in a part of the world where kielbasa is a scarce resource, and it hurts my soul every time I have to walk into the grocery store, my head bowed down with shame, and 400 grams of kielbasa sausage cost me $9.25. I can hear the souls of my ancestors screaming in protest every time I pay full price for kielbasa. I just have to make my own. Like, that is fully why I got the sauce. Like, I'm going to make bratwurst, I'm going to make chorizo. But let's be clear, Laura. We both know that the only reason I got the sausage stuffer was so I can make kielbasa.
Oh my god. So to be fair, before this, I had no idea what kielbasa was.
I gotta give you some of my kielbasa. I don't think you've tasted my kielbasa yet.
I have not tried any of your sausages yet.
Yeah, so kielbasa is a Eastern European sausage that's flavored with garlic, marjoram, which is kind of cousin to oregano, and black pepper. And it's a smoked sausage, so I had to get the smoker as well. But it's pretty good. Like, in terms of sausage making, you can't really fuck it up. It's a pretty easy one in terms of making it. It is a 2-person job. So you do need to rope in your partner for an afternoon of sausage making. But at the end, you get like 30 sausages out of like 6 or 7 pounds of meat.
That's date night ideas. Couple sausage stuffing.
It's fun. It's really fun. You know, like, again, I don't know if this is coming off as unnecessarily gay, but you know, having your partner lovingly feel the tension of the hog casing, making sure that there's only the right amount of meat being stuffed in there, you know?
I have to say, I was not expecting this many innuendos in our mom podcast, but I'll take it.
Je suis innocent.
So, if we have time for one more funny antidote,
absolutely,
on this note of inappropriate mom comments and slightly gay comments. So, I recently started a new job, and one of my coworkers and I, like, we hit it off, and we were talking, and it was like a music session. We were doing an activity with kids, and she was playing guitar, and we were talking about if I had ever played a musical instrument. And I said, I tried to learn guitar and piano, and I said, I'm blessed with really long fingers, but I guess it didn't come in handy. And she said, well, it did for something else.
Yeah, getting called out in the music room, huh?
Yes. Luckily, no kids were listening or paying attention, so... And I'm not sure they would catch on yet, anyways.
That is a pretty subtle joke. Tragically, for my life as a queer of some flavor, is that I have tragically very short fingers. It's one of the great tragedies of my life.
Awkward moment of the day when you don't know how to respond to the podcast co-host.
No problem. We can cut that one if we don't want. If we don't feel like it.
No, but I still think it's funny. I just sometimes see this as me. I sometimes don't know how to respond to social comments.
In that case, leave it in. Leave it in.
Perfect. We could talk more about this next week when we talk about neurodiversity and the awkward social moments. We could have a whole segment on mental health, I think, because it needs to be normalized and talk about more, because there's so many moms out there who are struggling, or not, I wouldn't say struggling, because not everyone, who are living with mental health challenges. So I think it's really great to talk about it. That's why when it comes to me, I'm an open book with that kind of stuff, to an extent. I'm not going to tell everyone my sordid details, but definitely open to the fact that I am in therapy.
I just have a very adversarial relationship with my therapist. Like, I change therapists maybe more frequently than is necessarily suggested, if you catch my drift. They annoy me, and then I'm like, all right, time to slot you in with the next one.
That's why when you get a good one, hang on to them. I've had one for almost 5 years, and I told her she stuck with me forever, because this is the first time that, like, I jive so well with a therapist that it almost feels like I'm paying for a really expensive friend who gives me really good, thoughtful advice and things to work out on my own. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's my problem with therapists, is that I want to tell them about the problems I'm facing in my life, but I don't want to hear their fucking opinion about it. I just want to talk.
Well, that should be their role. And I should have said maybe validation instead of advice, because she does steer away from the advice, I would say. But the thoughtful, open-ended questions for me to come up with my own advice is very helpful.
Yeah. What's the best advice you ever got from your therapist? Like one that you come back to?
I might have to come back to you with that because I'm not so good at thinking of things on the spot. So maybe we start with that next week.
I can tell you mine. If we want to cut this, that's okay. I was bitching to my therapist at some point, and I ended my bitching session being like, well, what can you do? And my therapist said something to the effect of, I can tell you're suffering. And I said something to the effect of like, well, like not suffering as much as other people, etc., etc. And she said something that sticks in my brain constantly, which is, how much suffering is enough suffering? Justine, what is the correct amount of suffering for you? And it struck me as very profound, even though she was trying to be adversarial to me. But because I'm a smartass, I answered back to her 3. 3 sufferings is the correct amount of suffering.
I like this part. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good little tidbit. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so whenever I'm minimizing how much a situation is bothering me, I just repeat to myself, how much suffering is the correct amount of suffering? As a Catholic, you need all the suffering in the world. All right, listeners, that was episode 1 of Loud and Proud Mamas. I am your host, Justine. This is my wonderful co-host, Laura. We are here with you to share with you our awkward moments and your pains and joys and sufferings as mamas. Laura, you want to take us out for the night?
Thank you so much for listening. I am so excited to keep talking to you about all things mom, gay, and small town life. Tune in next time for more good stuff.
All righty, listeners. Until next time.